Does anyone else feel like they're being gaslit by a multi-million-dollar company?
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is absolutely wild. So here's the third part of a trilogy of a series of videos I didn't even want to make, but it's just how the situation has unfolded. So as we've mentioned previously, with the whole Year of Chaos thing, it was a throwaway article in a September article published by GW about the Year of Chaos, but aka it was just about the Skaven and focusing on that. And then we all collectively thought, okay, this is the Year of Chaos for all things Warhammer.
Yay!
So that must mean that we must expect like absolute hyperbolic marketing. We have to see things. We have to see new miniatures, new model lines, new reveals for armies that haven't gotten any love lately. And then we've all come to find out that that was absolutely bogus and that was not what they were planning. But before we continue on with the video,
are you ready to take your wargaming to the next level? Look no further than Games Village, your one-stop shop for everything Warhammer and wargaming right here in Upper Coomera on the beautiful Gold Coast.
Whether you're a seasoned veteran or a new player, Gamers Village has everything you need, from miniatures and paints to rulebooks and accessories. Plus, they've got a fantastic community for players to connect, compete, and grow their skills.
Visit Gamers Village today in Upper Coomera or check them out online for all your wargaming needs. Your next great battle is awaiting. Gamers Village, where your wargaming adventure begins.
So yeah, like I said, there was an article in September, this all being the Year of Chaos, and it was a throwaway line. It wasn't meant to amount to anything, but we as the community took that and then we made it into something, and we got hyped. We got excited because usually Chaos doesn't get much love from GW because it's all the other factions that do first. So we took that and then we were like, okay, so we should be expecting something big with Adepticon. We should be expecting something awesome coming our way. And instead, we've just been receiving slow drips of something and something and something ever since then. And then we all kind of realized that that was a throwaway line, wasn't meaning anything. So we all kind of like collectively looked in the mirror and was just like, don't let GW get your hopes up again like that. Walked away from it. Okay, that was a mistake on our part, not theirs. But now, in response to that, they have now come out with another article saying the Year of Chaos in review, all the gifts of the Dark Gods. So now we're just like, hang on, was Year of Chaos actually a thing? Was this actually their marketing? Because I don't believe that for a second, because as we all know, if it was, GW would have hyped it up and used that phrase more often. So now in review, like as if that was something that we were meant to be looking for. And just off that title alone, you would assume that this was something that they had planned. But let's read the context first. Now I have to say, straight off the bat, this article is wild. Because when you read the first couple of paragraphs and the first couple of sentences, you realize they're definitely taking the piss out of us. Time moves strangely in the warp. A year in real space might be 100 in the formless realm of the Empyrean, or 1,000, or perhaps just a few weeks. Accordingly, some claim that Year of Chaos began in September 2024, with a dark troth made in this article. Ah, okay. For others, though, the Year of Chaos stretches further back. Did it begin in June, with the Hornrat's ascension to the pantheon of the Age of Sigmar? Was it kicked off by Codex Chaos Space Marines in May? Perhaps it's been the so-called Year of Chaos for 40 years or more, a relentless onrush of releases dating back to the early 80s and before. I don't even know what to make of that. I genuinely, like, what does that mean? Like, are they trying to like take the piss out of like how long a year? Because I'm not sure about you guys, but either a year is the full 12 months of a year, like whether it's from September from one year to another September the following year, or whether it starts in September now and then it keeps going for a full 12 months until the next September, or it's the remainder of the year until the next January. Not 9 to 13 months or 40 years or whatever they're trying to do. I don't get it. This is a really bad way of starting your marketing, because if you say Year of Chaos, the reasonable fan will assume that we're talking about a single year. It's the most obfuscating bullshit I've ever heard. And now, by the sounds of it, I think this is just straight up damage control. I haven't read the rest of the article, but we're going to go through it together. It just sounds like they're trying to do damage control on the throwaway line that they did in the article, and they even link it here. So yes, the next part is, all of which is to say, over the last year or so, we've released a lot of chaos. It began with the veterans of the Long War in May with a new codex and 2 fearsome new lords. Now, we'll be honest, I was really happy with this, and I was really happy with the 2 releases of the Chaos Lords. But I don't think that was part of their plan. I don't think that they were planning to do anything related to the Year of Chaos, considering the fact that this article, the first ever mention of this, of the Year of Chaos, was in September, and this came out in May. It just sounds like they're cherry picking whatever they can, strapping whatever together they can, and to make it say like, hey, we've had this plan all along. And then in June, which just to remind you, is still not in September. In June, the Skaven type box dropped, bringing it with hordes of vermin newly empowered by the Horned Rat's successful scheme to force its way into the Chaos Pantheon. Whilst, I'll be honest, absolutely cool. And here's the other thing as well, is that Warhammer is just more than 40k. It's not just 40k when we're talking about Warhammer. It has to encompass all of them, like Kill Team, Old World, Age of Sigmar, all these sorts of things. These do count. But is it equivalent is the question. And then talking of Emberguard, which nobody was.
Nobody asked, dude. There are 0 people who asked among us. Look, I invited everyone who asked to this party. And yo, good photo of everyone who asked. Yo, check out, it's a bus full of everyone who asked.
The battle still rages on, the tunnels beneath the fallen city, blah, 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 and then corrupting influence of chaos. And then they're talking about the reveals that they got there. And then in the old world, the warriors of chaos made their long journey from the frozen wastes of north, Friedel the Chainmaker, whose brutal raids have made her infamous on the coast of the Sea of Claws. So obviously they're talking about the new battle tome that they got for the Slaves of Darkness, and talking about the releases that they got there. Fair enough. And now we're talking about these goremongers, and from Kill Team that are basically, these are basically bloodletter wannabes, which, you know, cool, fair enough.
I mean, it's alright, like...
And then obviously the Fulgrim release, which, you know, 50-50, happy about that, something that I'm not happy about.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
If you want to know more, go check out our Empress Children episode. And then the creme de la creme. The rest of the ruinous powers can't abide this kind of competition. The remainder of the Pantheon ensured their codexes reached the hands of the supplicants in short order. So the Death Guard got the Lord of Poxes, and then they got the Slaughterbound for the World Eaters, and then the Occult Sentries of the Sekitar robots. And then they all got their Battle Force boxes and respective codexes, and the special edition versions of these boxes with the fragment each of a 4-piece medallion. Now, my opinion on this is that yes, it is very much true that the 4-piece medallion that you get is very different from the others, and it could hint that there was some extra level of thinking there, and that other people may have actually been planning the Year of Chaos and given them a little bit extra, because you don't see this with any other army. But at the same time, I don't consider that a good or special thing, because it isn't. Because it's very limited, and on top of that, the Scalpers will get to them before any actual normal fan will get to it. So it's not something for the fans. It's not something for everybody, because not everybody's going to be able to get them. So I hate it when they put out this exclusive stuff, like as if it's meant for all the fans, when it's purposely limited and it is only going to be helpful to a few fans and a few of those that get heart attacks when they don't get it. And now the Chaos Knights as well, with the new Knight Ruinator. And I'm just, when you go back through it all, I understand that it has to be diluted because it has to go for all of them. It has to go through Age of Sigmar, Old World, 40k, and Kill Team. And I understand that there's only so much focus that you can give to one specific, like, faction, especially when it encompasses all games that they sell. But at the same time, if you are going to back this, saying that it is the Year of Chaos, you actually have to follow through and actually deliver on the hype. That's not even 12 months worth of releases. Wait, hang on. The first mention of the Year of Chaos was September, but the Chaos Codex came out in May, and Skaven came out in July. Hope they limbered up before they made that stretch. And then they got the Blades of Khorne coming, and then on top of that, they're talking about the Saturnine box, trying to squeeze that in there. I won't accept that.
You are a liar! No, I'm not!
So that's it then. A whole year of Chaos basically done. But what next? Is that it for Chaos? 12 months and then they all retreat into the warp without so much as a disembodied keening voiceover in our heads wailing good luck? Perhaps the Year of Chaos may never end. All these tyrants will dominate our future for as long as we can possibly imagine. For 38,000 years perhaps, when the coiling serpent finally eats its tail. Who can say? We should at least get a few more cool minis out of it at least. That's what we've been saying. That's what we have been saying, is that there should have been more models. At least 1,000 Suns should have gotten a model refresh. They haven't had their models refreshed since before COVID.
Hey.
about 30 years? I hope so.
They're just hiding in the ambiguity of it all. They haven't made it clear whether they intentionally were doing a year of chaos or not. Logic dictates they didn't plan this and now they are just trying to do damage control, and that it was just a throwaway line from September. They honestly could have just left it alone and most of the community would have moved on. I moved on from doing that last video, but now I'm forced to make this video because they brought out an article thinking that they could either A, make fun of the fans, or B, try and like state that they have done something for the year of chaos and that this is done. This is it. Hiding in the ambiguity is the place of the unprepared and the cowards. One thing I will say I love is the new codex artwork for each of the books. I still love the old ones, but I do love these more centralized, unified themes that they've got going on. And that Thousand Suns one is now my new wallpaper. But you know what? I'm also glad they talked about this. I'm glad that out of all the things they could have addressed, I'm glad they addressed a rumor like this. I'm so glad that they addressed this out of everything instead of, talking about the real chaos that we've had to suffer this year, which is the goddamn scalpers getting anything and everything they can get their hands on and stopping us fans from getting from it and then marking it up 1,000,000%. That's why I don't consider those medallions or those fresh codexes any sort of a good thing for the rest of the fan base, because none of us are going to see them. They're going to be bought away by collectors and scalpers, and then they're just going to be hoarded away until eventually they can resell them at 3 times the price. We saw that with the books. We've seen that with everything that GW has brought out so far, and GW still hasn't fixed the problem. To regale you with a story, I bought the Primarch books for Sanguinius and Rogal Dawn when they were only $20 in Australia, when they just came out online. And then I did the responsible thing. I bought one of each just for my personal collection. And then I saw online that they were sold out and then they had reached $200 to $300 each. And then I told my partner about it and then I'm glad that I got it in before the scalpers got to it. And she said, why didn't you buy more and then sell them at that price? And I said to her, because I have some f***ing integrity.
Am I an arsehole? Do I look like an arsehole?
I'm not entirely sure how we can fix the scalping issue. I'm not entirely sure how we can go for moving forward, but there has to be something better than what they're doing so far. It should be something, maybe it's like those of us that have a Warhammer Plus account, or those of us that just have a Warhammer account, you can only purchase 1 per account. There has to be something in place to stop people from buying 17 of them and then selling them at 3 times the price, making a profit. Because by the time they get to the stores, it's already been a month, and content creators like myself haven't been able to get access to them unless I have a good network in place. And Nora, James, and I are going to have a good relationship with GW, and we're not going to get these on time. So there needs to be a fairer way for GW to let the fans get a hold of these stuff. So I don't think this was a good article. I'm actually walking away from this article really annoyed. And I don't want to make a 4th video about this in September when they say, Year of Chaos is over now, ha ha ha. They hyped up the fans in the wrong way and they could have cashed in on it and they could have been transparent about what they were planning to do, or they could have released an article saying, hey, this is what we've got planned. You guys have blown this out of proportion. That wasn't what we were planning to do. But because of that, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. It just kind of feels like they're backstepping a lot, and I'm not here for it. All of these releases that they've mentioned were stuff that were naturally going to happen anyways, stuff that's been on their different roadmaps since day one. So I don't think that they should be able to claim this and saying that it is the year of chaos when it's not. It's like saying, hey, this is the year of Space Marines, and then they pull up every single Space Marine box that they've done since June, and that doesn't matter. And they're not operating in good faith.
So basically my job is to take the piss.
Anyways, thank you for listening to my rant. Please like and subscribe. If you have any differing opinions, please join our Discord and have a go at me. I don't care. I still like the attention. Or if you want a actual honest community of Warhammer lovers and have a decent discussion about it, then please join the Discord. Please help us get out of small channel hell. Thank you again. Have yourselves a lovely day. Or as GW would say,
go f*** yourselves.
For the glory of chaos!